Let's talk about this very important news that can affect indefinite leave to remain. Now, Shabana Mahmood, the new Home Secretary, has sent some senior Home Office officials to Denmark to copy their immigration policy. They believe that the immigration policies in Denmark are stricter. It makes it very difficult for people to settle, and it also makes it easy for people to be returned back to their home country. And they want to copy some of the policies they have put in place. They believe that if they apply it in the UK, it will be effective in reducing net migration. So I'm going to share with you some of the policies that they have in Denmark. And remember that Shabana Mahmood said that towards the end of this month, she's going to make some proposals on some changes to immigration rules. This will affect indefinite leave to remain. But I feel I should just share everything with you so that I can know what is happening in the UK. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Cynthia. I share information that will help your transition abroad to be as smooth as possible. I share information about settling, working, or studying in the UK. If you're interested in any of these, please subscribe to this channel. Turn on your notification bell so that each time I drop a new video, you'll be amongst the first people to see that video. If you need support getting a visa sponsorship job, maybe you need help with an outstanding CV, cover letter, or personal statement, then reach out to me. The link will be in the description as well as in the comment. And without wasting time, let's get into this video. During the last Labour conference, the new Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, announced that she was going to make sure that the UK gains control of her borders. Now, she has sent some senior officials to Denmark. Now, their purpose for going there is to study the immigration policies there. And you might be wondering, what are the policies that Denmark has put in place that made their borders more restrictive? You know, what are the things that have made the net migration drop? Those are the things that they are likely to copy, and then they can now implement it in the UK. So we are expecting some of the proposals she's going to make soon towards the end of this month. We are in the month of November, so we're expecting some of these things, because if they copy the exact model that Denmark has, is likely to affect settlement, is likely to affect some other aspects. The first one is that if you are an asylum seeker, if the conditions of you staying in the UK changes, that is, if you say that your country is the problem or something like that, if they notice that the condition has changed, they will return the person back to their country. So asylum is a temporary route, is not a permanent route to settlement. And they also extended the period you can spend on the asylum visa route so that you can stay there for as long as possible, and implemented this option that you can work in full-time employment. So that's something we don't have in the UK. I know that there are a lot of people protesting with regards to asylum seekers being in hotels. They just removed that option. They just made it more difficult for asylum seekers to get indefinite leave to remain. That is why I'm sharing this, because I know that some people might decide to choose the asylum route to settlement. It's good for you to be aware that this pathway is about to change. You don't cast. So what I'm saying is that prepare yourself for things like this. Now, they also try to implement this option that you cannot be anything below 24 years old. That is, if you want to bring your family or anything, you can't. So you have to be 24 years and above. And they said the reason they put this law in place is so that they will prevent forced marriage. When somebody gets married to someone and says, it's my family and you should come in. Remember that in September, they changed the law with regards to refugee family reunion, which means that if you're a refugee in the UK, you cannot bring your dependents, be it a child, a partner, or anybody. You can't. They suspended it. So they are going to implement some new rules soon, which we are waiting for. I believe it's going to be towards the end of this month that they're going to announce some of these aspects that we are waiting for. Now, they also made this law that if you live in certain areas, you cannot invite your family. That is it. And if you want to invite your family, you must pass the Danish language test. You know that it's mostly people on the skilled worker visa that have to write that test, the English test. But this time around, they applied it to asylum seekers. And you should have some amount in your pocket. As in, I'm talking about your account details. You should have some show proof of funds. So it's more like a visa route, but it's a temporary route that if things change your home country, they will send you back to your home country. That is one of the conditions they have. Now, they also implemented this option, which I know that the UK would not implement, which is when you give the family to go back to their home country £24,000, the equivalent of £24,000. I know the UK might not be willing to do that because at some point they were giving some people £3,000 to go back to their home country, and some people were also complaining that that was a lot of money. Why would you give somebody £3,000 to go back to go to Rwanda or go back to your home country? And some people took that option and left, but the Danish government actually gave people £24,000 to go back to their home country and support their child's education. These are some of the things that we feel they might try to implement. Not the £24,000, guys. What do you think? Do you think the government will be willing to pay some people some amount to go back to their home country? Will it be up to £24,000? I doubt that would likely happen. So it seems that the asylum seeking route is now very shaky. It's not a certain route to settlement. It seems like they are going to implement stricter laws that will affect asylum seeking. So guys, I always tell you that if you come into the UK, have your plan A, B, C, D, because sometimes plan A can mess up, plan B might mess up, and you could try plan C. I know that this is a difficult time for many families. I'm going to share with you some of the options and opportunities you can explore if you want a visa sponsorship job. And I feel that the asylum seeking route is going to become more difficult for families because the laws that they're implementing, remember that on Thursday and Friday they said 1,200 plus people came in through the boats, like on small boats, into the UK, and it's a major issue of concern to the UK. So the weather became a little bit better and some boats came in, and they still have the one in one out with France. So guys, asylum seeking is a difficult period because they're going to lump everybody, both refugees, both people who came in through the legal route and are seeking asylum for genuine reasons. It seems like they're going to lump everybody into the same category. You might have to work full-time. The way I'm saying it, they might make it a temporary route, though there might be conditions. You might have to stay longer because in the with the Danish government, they made it that you have to stay longer. You have to not get it in just 5 years. They make it very long before you get settlement. This is the latest update. If you want to check out my new video, I feel it's very important for you to check it out if you're struggling to get a visa sponsorship job. I have some tips that might help you to settle so that you can buy time, so that you can get that visa sponsorship job you're dreaming of. I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.
Africa's rich history is filled with stories of powerful kings and queens, like Queen Amina of Zazzau, the fearless warrior queen, King Mansa Musa of Mali, the wise and just ruler, Queen Nzinga of Angola, King Shaka Zulu, and many other notable African rulers. Join us on a journey through the lives of Africa's most legendary kings and queens. In African Kings and Queens, discover the fascinating stories of these iconic leaders. Get your copy now on Amazon Kindle. Grab your copy now.